kids. This is kind of an unfortunate way to have to answer the questions you guys had for us. We've wrestled with this quite a bit. If we were to write an explanation, you wouldn't be able to see our faces, and it'd be very easy to get things skewed and say, oh, he didn't say that, she didn't say that, he said this, she said that, and we don't want that to happen. Our preference would be to sit down with you guys and talk this over. But as you'll hear and see through your voicemails, your emails, and texts, that's something that's impossible right now. That's okay. It's your choice. We need to be able to respect you guys and answer the questions you had or attempt to, and realize, we're okay with your choices. They're your choices. You made them. They're unfortunate in our book, but that's okay. Everyone gets to make choices, and not everyone has to like them. So I hope this answers everything you have, and I wish you all a very good day. We love you all very much, and here's to the future, whatever it brings. May God bless it.
Hello, Justin and Carly. It's very apparent that you're needing an explanation that you asked me for 2 weeks ago. And I simply waited, hoping that you both would calm down and understand what you said and what was done, and hope you bring some peace to you. Because you're simply not going to rile me up, nor your mom, over the things you say and do. So here's the reason why I didn't answer your phone call when Carly's mom and I were at the house. Terry had such a stirring in her heart to try to encourage Carly, and we prayed about it for a week. She simply wanted to go by and see her, give her a nice card, wish her well, hope she's okay, show her she still loved her, try to start afresh. And we didn't go because you weren't there. We knew the kids would be in school, didn't want any issue. Carly's mom goes to the front door, and when she knocks on the door, she hears, "Get the F off my property. I'm going to call the effing police." And at the car, I sat there giving Terry and Carly a moment to just say hello. As soon as that language took off, I knew that Carly was not going to accept just a kind visit from her mother. When the phone rang, I knew it was you. There is no way I would answer the phone. You were going to say the exact same thing she was, which is hatred and vile. It's just, you can't have a conversation with somebody like that. A few days later, I get an email from you. And here's how your email starts out. If you are not able to explain all this email my wife wrote to you, she's the one your whore thinks owes her an apology. She's the one because she forgot to feed the dogs. You and your whore withheld food for 3 days from her and Cole while you ate in front of them. This is why if you don't explain it perfectly, then you had better stay so far away from my family, your own mother won't find you when you finally rot off this earth. Just for the way your coward ass treated my son under your roof and your watch, your ass had better be scared to death right now. And you really want me to give you a call and talk? There's no talking to a person that acts like that. There is not one word that can be said to somebody who has got a beat down, in your face mentality. It's sad to see that's how you are. It's sad to see that's how you wrote this. For a man to call his mother-in-law a whore and threaten his father-in-law to kill him, and you want me to call you. Justin, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's not how you have a conversation. Carly's mother only attempted to try to help heal a wound. Your comments, your emails are beyond despicable. But that's your call. And you scaring me, brother, you couldn't scare me if you had 15 more people like you. I don't care if you want to kill me, and I don't care if you threaten me. It's of no value to me, just like I told you in a very short email. I feel bad that you're spiritually tormented, and you feel like you have to call your mother-in-law a whore and threaten my life. But nevertheless, you asked me to explain this email. Well, just in the first place, the email is probably not explainable because you cannot explain things that are not correct. In the first place, Justin, you and your wife both know what kind of man I am. I have never drawn back from my own mistakes. Everybody in my family, Terry had mistakes, I had mistakes, Carly, Cole, and right down the line, we all had contributed to the failing marriage. And so to see Carly write an email that is so off the wall, I'm not even sure if even one line in the email is truthful. It's very disturbing to me to be her dad and to be told that the very first line of her email says, "I am ashamed that you are my father." What real understanding man waits until he knows his daughter will be alone and corner her? We didn't corner you. It was a sunny day, 11 o'clock in the morning. I stayed outside to give you space to talk to your mom. Carly, you showed what you wanted to do. You showed your attitude, and your husband followed suit. This email from you is threatening. It's slanderous. It's written very poorly. You left messages. You called me names. You want us to think you're okay. You're not okay if you write this way. Everybody had problems. So let me play a little voice message for you. Justin, you left me this voice message because I didn't call you back. And after this response, this email, who calls back somebody who wants to threaten their life? I just needed you to calm down. But here's your message back to me, or your message to me about 3 days after this email came to me.
This is your last opportunity here. Don't, if you're too much of a pussy and you can't call me like a man and speak to me like a man, just forget about ever being a part of our family. You are never welcome back. Don't send another email. Keep your whore in line. Do not ever contact us again. If you got the balls to call me, you do it, boy, and we'll talk this out. You and me, but you're too chicken shit, aren't you? Bye.
That's an amazing voice message from somebody 2,400 miles away. You call your father-in-law somebody twice your age, boy, and you threaten me again. And you want me to call and talk to you? Justin, there is nothing to say. What's interesting is that you and Carly both have got this in your eye and your mind and your spirit, that this email that is like 6 pages long that you guys sent, that she sent, and evidently you agree with it. The context of it are so far off base that don't even make sense. But just like I told Carly a long time ago, you have a right to feel the way you do. The way you feel about me, Carly, telling me I'm not your dad, you called me a coward, and I will play your voice message that you left me the day that I brought your mom over there. These words you have for me, I'm okay with them because you have a right to your opinion. And if you want to feel this way about your father, you have a right. And I won't say one word to change your mind or change your attitude or change your position. If God Almighty can't help you, there's not a thing I can do or say. But evidently, I can't even talk things like that because in your email, you pretty much told me that I'm not saved, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm a coward. So that's fine. Once again, that's your opinion. Just to make sure that it's crystal clear to you and Justin both on this little email, on this little video, the reason why you were blocked, and you're the only one I've ever blocked on my phone, is I asked you last year, at least 3 or 4 times, in probably 6 or 7 weeks, you called every couple of weeks. I said, Carly, you need to stop talking about your mom this way. You need to quit calling her Terry. You need to have a little forgiveness and try to see if you can calm down and get a better perspective on what life is really about. But you were determined to call every 2 or 3 weeks, start off quietly. The conversation would last an hour and you would get very upset, tell me that your mom, Terry, is ruining me. She's controlling me. She's manipulating me. And I kept asking you, Carly, just let it go. Let's see what God's going to do. Let's have some mercy and grace and forgiveness. And you simply refused to stop. The last conversation was in July, late July, I believe, on a job. I had to get Nikki to come over and interject a conversation, and you just simply wouldn't let it go. And I told you that you and all your brothers, and including your husband, you have the right to make the choices you want to make. If you choose to cut out your mother, you can do that. If you choose to call me names and threaten my life and call me despicable stuff, it's okay. You have that choice. But remember, just like I told you that day, I have a choice too. And at that time, I chose to tell you we simply don't need to talk anymore because this isn't going to go anywhere. And I blocked you, hoping that you would just let it go, let time pass, and you wouldn't. So I did what I had to do. I'm going to play you the voice message that you left me the day that me and your mom were at your home. And the only reason why I'm playing this, so you guys can physically hear with your ears on this video what kind of attitude, what kind of personality you guys had. And it's rather alarming, but I just believe that God will take care of it. I prayed for you and Justin every day.
Thanks for breaking my heart again, Dad. Thanks. I hope that you sleep well at night, knowing that because you weren't strong enough to stand up to evil, that you have crushed your 3 grandchildren and your daughter. I guess that really doesn't matter to you, does it? Because you've been doing that the entire time you've known Terry, with your boys, with Cole, with Joshua. I don't even think that you're the man that I thought I loved. Did you ever love me? Or were you just putting up with me so that you could be with Terry? Did you ever love me, Dad? You are this Christian that you used to come down on because you thought you were so much better than them. You were so morally upstanding and you were so Christ-like. Do you not see how you're acting right now, Dad? I mean, you threw away your 3 grandchildren. You threw away 3 other grandchildren of Derek's. You threw away a son. You threw away 3 sons from the moment you met Terry. Do you not understand what she does to you when she's in your head? Right now, you're not my dad. You are a liar and a hypocrite and an extremely weak individual. Because I don't care if you want to let evil in your life, but you are so weak that you cannot stand up to evil and say, you know what? I'm not going to punish my kids and grandkids because they're not going to let evil in their lives. You're weak, Dad. You're weak. I can't even call you to tell you I prayed in tongues. I know how your boys felt this whole time. Choosing Terry every single time. And this isn't about choosing your spouse over your children, Dad. If you would have done that, you would have stayed with your first wife. And your sons would be okay right now. You might actually have a relationship with all 3 of them. If you would have stuck to that, putting your spouse first. No, you let evil into your life, and she stayed there, and you got a little break, but you missed it so much. You let it back in, and here we are, your true self again. So you know what, Dad? Fuck you and not being able to look at me. Fuck you.
That's quite the amazing voicemail, Carly. I'm glad you can voice your opinion. I'm glad that's how you feel, if that's how you truly feel. There's not a word to be said. You just simply don't vindicate yourself or even try when somebody says that. If that's how you feel about me, you're more than welcome. If you want to know the definition of a real weak person, a weak person is somebody who cannot control their anger, which I used to be a lot. A weak person can't control their emotion. A weak person can't find proper words to say, so what they do say are words of degrading vulgarity. A brave man can be called those names and still smile. A brave man can be called names like that and told he's a certain way and still pray for those who call him. That's all I've ever tried to do. I would not attempt to change you and Justin's opinion about me or your mom for anything. But what you do need to do is understand that this video is to try to help you guys do what Justin asked. Explain this email to me. And you called her mother a whore. And you call yourself a brave man. You might want to rethink that one, Justin. No man that calls a woman a whore is a brave man. This email, Carly, it amazes me that page after page after page, I'm not even sure where you got this. We did talk about the children. I did talk about Derek and Brooklyn and Anthony and Nathan and Taylor and Jeremiah and all of them. They were always in conversations of prayer, conversations of I'm struggling as a dad to see my family not do well. You and I used to talk all the time about how tormented I was that I hurt my first wife, that I had affairs, and it troubled me so bad that I would have done that. And I felt like that some of that torment still traveled with me. We talked about some very serious things. They were never to gossip. They were always to pray. They were always to be concerned about how to do the right thing and how to lead our family and pray for our family. You can throw me away. You can tell me I'm not your dad. That's fine. You were always my daughter. Justin will be my son-in-law. If I never see you again, then I guess Jesus is Lord. But I don't have any bitterness or hatred or foul words to say. But Justin, you asked me specifically to answer and explain all this email. It cannot be explained because none of it is correct. Carly has put down how she feels. I'm glad. She's tried to vent what she thinks about me and her mother. I'm glad. But this email is directed to me only. And I think part of the reason why it's directed to me, Carly, is because once you realize that you could not get your way with me, that your dad had a thoughtful, prayerful attitude about the future, and you could not convince me anymore of what you thought was right for you, then you turned against me. That's simply okay. But that's what this is. This email is to try to put me in my place, call me names and shame me. Dear, you and half this world can't do that. I stand before God and Him alone. I bet I told you 1,000 times if I told you once that I felt like I was a miserable dad. And I don't know why I failed so much, but I tried so hard. So I don't have to explain myself. There is no explain this email to you, Justin. It's not. Because Carly just simply is not able to rationalize the reality or the simplisticness of family issues and problems. She simply said what she wants to say. Well, anybody can do that, but it doesn't mean it's right or it's true. And if anybody knows me, they know for a fact that I take fault for my first marriage. I take fault for my second marriage. I take fault for not being a good dad. So anybody wants to read this email and see the kind of things that was said I did, that's up to them to decide if that's the kind of person they think I am or not. But to hear the 2 voice messages, to see your response, Justin, to see you threaten me, which means nothing to me, Justin. It doesn't. And you want me to call and talk to you. So this is probably the only way that I can communicate with you. And if we never communicate, just like I told Carly, that is simply okay with me, because there are some things in life you cannot fix and you cannot correct. I'm just sorry to see that you two have let yourself have such bitterness and hatred. It's consumed you. It's easy to see it. The 2 voice messages on my phone are as simple as can be how you are consumed with bitterness. Carly, you can testify how many times I told you in your life when you were having trouble with mom and me and the family. If you don't keep anger and bitterness under control, it will destroy you. I'm sorry you both feel this way about me. I love you. I will always pray for you. I will always pray that things will go better and you'll be healed and we can be that family again. But that's not up to me. You made your choice. My choice is I still love you, love your family. I pray for you every day. May God give you the grace to understand and the wisdom to go forward and try desperately, kids, to find out what it is that really has troubled you.
Hey kids, we wanted to answer the email that the two of you sent. Jeff has done that. I wanted to answer a couple of things, and I had a few things to say, and my husband and I wanted to be together in our solidarity on this situation.
Oh, I just totally agree. I mean, Justin asked a long time ago, it's been a couple months now, or a month and a half, that he wanted answers to this email. And I already made part of the video for you, but if you want some answers, I guess your mom wants to share some answers and some concerns. But the biggest thing you need to understand is that our reconciliation was absolutely anointed by God. What you've done and how you're being and how you have reacted, it's without words to say how disturbed I am to see how you two kids are acting over things that happen to normal people all the time. And it's, your mom just wants to share her feelings. So.
Yeah, there were some things in this email, and I've got the computer screen up behind us so I can read part of it and answer some questions that are here. And as Jeff said in the part that he's already videoed, there's really not much of this that's correct by our perception. We can't control, nor do we want to control how you see us or what you think or what you feel. You're entitled to feel and think whatever you want. Some of these questions, I think, need to be answered.
Okay.
Let me start with, I guess, the first part of the email, and I'll attach these so you can see them and know exactly what we're talking about as I go down this list. But you say you're ashamed that my husband's your father. Well, I'll also attach a lot of your texts and your emails to this that came right before Dad told you you had to make a choice, and you made the choice. We're not responsible for the choice that you made, and we're not responsible for your anger. You know, I'm really sorry that you have to feel that, and I don't really quite understand it. Neither of us do, but we're not responsible for it. You guys are. You say you're ashamed that my husband's your dad. I'm like I said, I'm sorry you feel that way because he's an outstanding man. What upstanding man waits until he knows his daughter's alone to corner her? We didn't corner you. The reason that we chose that time, we were busy from the time we landed until that day when we left. We picked that time because we knew the kids would be in school. And we didn't want to put them into any more confusion than they're already in. It's as plain and simple as that. It had absolutely nothing to do with cornering you, with getting you alone, or anything to do with Justin. It only had to do with making sure the kids weren't confused. Plain and simple. That was it. You want my husband to admit that he's a liar? He's not a liar. You know that. But you can feel that way. That's okay. You can feel I'm a liar. You know what? That's okay. You're entitled to your perception of your reality. We can't control that, and we accept it. You know, we're fine with it. I just wanted to kind of answer a few of these things. Throws a baby who's profusely bleeding and screaming. We have absolutely no idea what you're talking about with that one. What real man holds a gun to his autistic son's head? I'm not sure if you were here or not, but your brothers and sisters were here, and if that's your perception of what happened, well, then that's your perception, and we can't change it. But if you want the police report, we'll be more than happy to get it for you. If you'll remember correctly, your autistic brother was trying to kill your dad. Your dad had no choice. I was in the middle, and he didn't hold a gun to his head. They were about how many feet apart?
Probably 8 or 10 feet. Yeah.
8 or 10 feet apart. I was in the middle on the phone to the police. We were holding your brother at bay so your dad would be safe. But if you want to see it the other way, you know, you can see it however you want to. We can't control that, nor do we want to. You know, like I said, your perception of reality is your perception. Drops our mentally ill son off at a shelter. If you remember correctly, I don't even know if she was here. Was she here? When you weren't here when that happened. So you weren't privy to the conversation with the police and what happened there. So, you know, you can make assumptions if you want to, and that's fine. But you have to realize, too, you weren't here when it happened. What real man treats his children like dirt and puts them last any time this vile, meaning me, person is in your life? Well, that's not true. If you want to see it that way, you can. And that's fine. We can't control how you see us. We can't control what you think of us. Weak? I think my husband's probably one of the strongest people I have ever met. He likes to walk around acting holy and honest, but if anyone disagrees with him, well, once again, you're free to believe that. That's your perception. My husband has said is, this is just, we don't know where this came from. It is completely contrary to a lot of the texts and emails that I'm going to post so you can see. And you only turned ugly when your dad set the very same boundary you did. And I'm really sorry that you feel you're entitled to set your boundaries, but we're not entitled to set our boundaries. Yeah, these things that you said about the kids, no, they're not true. Yes, Dad did say he wouldn't walk Nikki down the aisle, and you know what? She agrees. Then you say something about Buddy putting Dad to work, and you say that my husband, Jeff, bullied Buddy into paying him more than he's worth. I don't know Buddy very well, but what I do know of him is no one bullies him. And this thing about punishing one of your brothers, that's not language my husband would use. But once again, you're free to believe that if you want to. You know, we can't change it. You know, so much of this can't be answered like Jeff said, because it just isn't right. It's all so skewed that it's really, there is no answering it. And I think this is the key right here. You said you used to talk to Jeff 3-4 times a day when he and I were apart. And I think that's kind of the clue. One of your sisters said she thinks you're just jealous. Well, that's her opinion. We don't know what it is. We don't know why you feel that way, but once again, you're entitled to. And if you really think that Joshua's mental illnesses were caused by your father, I think you should probably read up on paranoid schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and autism, and you'll realize that it's a genetic disorder with him, with your brother. He is dangerous. He's not allowed to be in our home per the police and per doctor's orders. It's a sad thing. We cry about it, but there's not anything we can do about it right now. And as with you, your brother made a choice. Just like you chose to walk away from our relationship. That was your choice. It wasn't Dad's. It was yours. Then you said something about Buddy's wife and a friend request. Well, I'll put in screenshots of her sending me the friend request. She didn't send it to me. And the only reason I'm going to put that in...
She did send it to you.
I mean, she did send it to me. I didn't send it to her. I didn't send her a friend request. I questioned her on why she sent me a request. And I don't even realize why that's even pertinent. Why that would even be brought up, but I guess it's pertinent to you, so it's valid to you, and it needs to be addressed.
You need to go hide.
Okay, he's gonna take the dogs out, and I'll answer this. You're saying that my husband is the most selfish person you know aside from me, and once again, I'm really sorry you feel that way, but you're entitled to feel the way you want. All the gossiping, you know that Jeff doesn't gossip. But if you want to see it like that, then, you know, that's fine. That's, you know, it's okay. I really don't know why I'm answering this other than Justin asked us, or asked Jeff to answer these questions. So we've thought about it and we're trying to, but this is so convoluted and it's so different from everyone else's perception of reality. But we have to realize this is your perception of reality. And we have to accept that, and we do accept that. But a lot of it can't be answered. You say you wish that he was never brought into your life. Okay. That's fine. I am glad he was brought into your life. I am glad he was brought into my life. You say he taught hate and judgment for anyone that didn't agree with him? Well, I think you'll see by the text and the emails that I'm going to publish with this, that's not our perception and that's not the way that we see it. But like I've said, you can see it any way you want to see it. You call him a gutless coward. You say that we have a child that calls his wife fat every single day because Jeff taught him to judge. Okay, if you want to see it that way, that's fine. It's unexplainable because, like Jeff said, it's just not true. It's not accurate. We have a homeless drug addict son that is that way because Jeff lacks empathy and human kindness. Yes, we have a homeless, mentally ill son that is addicted to drugs. He's homeless by his choice. Your brother is entitled to make choices just like you're entitled to make choices. It doesn't say anything about Dad. It doesn't say anything about me. And then you go on and you say, that's on you in all caps. Well, you know what? If you want to see it that way, that's fine. You know, we've come to realize we can't control your perception of reality. We have to accept this is the way you feel. These are your feelings, and we accept those. You know, it's up to you if you want to accept our feelings or not. That's totally your choice. You said you hope Jeff rests well tonight knowing that evil entity, which I assume you mean by me, has stolen not only 30 years from you, but your family and your human decency, and in caps, you let that happen. Well, wow. If that's your feeling, okay, but you know what? I think our 30 years together had its ups and downs, but it was certainly by the grace of God.
Absolutely. If we weren't together, I wouldn't have been her dad.
Yeah.
And she matters more to me than she'll ever know.
And to me. You matter more to me than you'll ever know. But if you don't want to see that, that's okay. That's okay. And then you say and say that she's changed for someone gullible. A changed person doesn't pull what she did the other day. I'm not really sure what I pulled. I dropped off a gift card to my daughter and told her how much I loved her. I'm not sure how that's pulling something, but if you see it that way, that's okay. I just wanted to tell you that I still love you. After all you've said and all you've done and the way you've chosen to see things, I still love you. I'll always love you. What I won't do, and what my husband won't do, we're not going to live a double standard. You put guidelines down. You put boundaries down that you chose. And then you got very upset with Jeff when he and I decided to listen to God and get back together. And it's only by the grace of God that we're back together. And our strong love for each other. What was I saying before that?
Oh, just about the card and the little rock you sent out there. Just
Yeah,
she called you setting a trap for her. And all you were trying to do prayerfully was encourage her and let her know that everything could be okay if she could just let a few things go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the double standard. You didn't want me to get in contact with you, but you would get in contact with me, and that's fine. I accept that. I don't really understand why you think it's okay for you to cross our boundaries, but we can't cross your boundaries. That's kind of a double standard. Then you bring up life insurance money. The truth be told, we were both excited that we were both able to get life insurance. I had a big policy. Jeff had a big policy. But you don't know what that money was going to be used for. You're making some big assumptions there, which is you can make assumptions, but you have no idea what that money was going to go for. And as for you saying that Dad was going to die soon, that I was excited Dad was going to die soon, I guess we're remembering it differently because who was on you all the time about taking your blood pressure medicine and going to the doctor?
You were.
Who was telling you to take care of yourself because I wanted you here forever?
You were.
So I'm not really sure how that plays into what you're saying, but okay, if you want to, that's fine. And then you end with saying when my husband stops being a coward for more than a minute to call back. Well, by your voicemails, by this email and everything, it's very clear that can't happen. A reasonable, calm conversation can't happen. And that is totally your choice. When you guys calm down, if you calm down and want to have a discussion, we're open to it. It's not anything we're going to force. We're not going to try to make happen. We're not going to try and change the way you choose to see us. We're just going to ask you. Jeff did ask you. He said, when he told you that we were going to get back together and that you needed to accept that and let us get on with our marriage, or you needed to do what you did to me and you needed to stay out of it. Dad didn't throw anyone away. He didn't shun anyone. He gave you the choice. He said, Carly, this is your choice. If you want to have a relationship with me, that includes your mother, because we're one. Our marriage today is more solid, more firm, more committed.
It is.
It's better than it ever has been. We jointly made the decision. Actually, I think it was your dad that brought it up. And I agreed with him. We have made the decision we're not going to let anything negative into our marriage. We love all of you greatly. I have, even with the voicemail and the way Justin has come across and the names he's chosen to call me, I have a lot of respect for him because he's taking care of you and he's taking care of my grandkids. And I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, you need to realize we have a marriage, a God-given gift of each other. We are going to put ourselves and our marriage before anything but God. God comes first, then our marriage, and then everything else. And if there's anything that's going to be negative, we have to shut the door to that. It's your choice to walk back in. You chose to walk out. You can choose to walk back in at any time you want. I'm sorry you're angry. I'm sorry you're hurt. A lot of times when people act like this and lash out and curse and call people names and write things that are just really not accurate from our perception or other people's perception, they feel that they have a loss of power, a loss of control in their own life. If that's the case, I'm really sorry, because that's not a good feeling to have, and I wouldn't want that for any of my kids. We love you, and whenever you're ready to walk back in, the door is open. But you're going to have to walk back in with an open heart, an open mind, and not bring the negativity, because we're not going to take it. And I'm sorry, I really am sorry that you chose to walk away. You did offer her that choice, right?
Oh yeah, sure I did. She knows I did. We had many talks about it.
So it was your choice for the separation between you and your parents. That was your choice. And I'm sorry that you feel the need to spin it and have others see it in a different light. But we can't control that. We can't control what you do, what you say, what you want, any of that. The only thing we can control is our marriage, thanking God for bringing us back together, loving us enough to see us through all the horrible times, thanking God for the kids and the family that have come and said, what happened? What really happened? We're blessed. We're blessed beyond measure.
Yep.
And I guess that's really, all we have to say. I'm really sorry you feel this way. I'm sorry you're so hurt. I'm sorry you're so angry. You're free to choose, just like we're free to choose. If we could choose, we would choose to have you walk right back in and be a part of our lives. But the choice is yours to make. The choice was yours when your dad told you. Or I guess you don't want him called your dad, so I guess Jeff, the choice was yours when Jeff said, you need to make a decision. You made the decision. And we can't accept responsibility for the decision you made. I'm sorry that you're choosing to feel this way, Carly. I really am. It's hurting everyone, but that's your choice to make. We're fine with it, but we're not responsible for it. You made the choice. Do you have anything?
No, just that I will love her as much as I always did the moment I saw her till the day I die. I have no ill feeling. I'm broken in my spirit and my heart to see the things you say, but they won't deter me from believing what I believe and walking correctly. I just hope that one day soon her and her husband will find peace and happiness and joy and be able to let go of the bitterness.
Yeah.
No, you said enough.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with my husband. You guys are entitled to your opinion. Everyone is entitled to your opinion. or to their own opinions. We're entitled to ours, you're entitled to yours, and we have no desire to change that. You know, you have free will. God gave us free will. I'm really sorry that you're hurting so much, because what you're writing to me says that you're hurting, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that, but I can't, Dad and I can't take responsibility for that, because once again, you made the choice. We love you guys. We wish you the best, and hopefully one day we'll hear from you.
Amen to that.
I don't know if you have anything else to add, or
No.
no. But I will attach to this video the text messages before and after and everything that happened, so that you can see kind of the way we're seeing things. You know, we can see that you feel very strongly about the way you see things and the way you choose to believe, and we don't want to change that. It's not our right to control the way you see things or the way you perceive things. That's up to you guys. That's totally up to you.
There's nothing else to say. Yeah.
No.
Just keep praying. Everything will be okay. One day soon it'll work its way out.
One way or the other, and he and I we're good with it either way. If you want to choose to stay out of our life, that's your choice, and we accept it. That's fine. We love you. We'll always love you. And with that, I guess we'll say until we see you. We wish you guys a good night, a happy life, and we pray for you daily.
We do that.